But
Dude,
now Conway's, I think I went to Conway's like 10 years ago and it wasn't the same.
there was stuff from the $10 store, the both the pants and the shirts that we got. I never trusted the socks or underwears. I was like, I don't know. That
No,
seems too
no, no.
that's
The
too
pants
too
and the shirt
trendy.
were off the hook, but that's the only thing that was worth buying. And what was funny is that they were probably the same they were the same price as the socks or the underwear, but the socks and underwear were like low quality. Like they would
Yeah, it was
disintegrate after
scary.
a little bit of sweat. You go out to a club dancing, all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute, why am I just so loose? And you wind up getting home with just a band around your waist.
Oh my god. But dude, those shirts, I think the last time I wore a shirt that I got from the $10 store, it was like easily about 5 years after they closed. The last time I wore one of those shirts from the $10 store was in '99, and $10 store we discovered in '91.
Yeah.
That's pretty decent.
Well, you don't want to hear something funny? That the last pieces of clothes I got from the $10 store, I actually got rid of 2008 or 2010 when I moved out of my old house.
Oh wow.
Not even like 2000. No, when we first moved into the house, I'd say around 2010 I got rid of some, and at about 2012 or 13 I was still at the house, but that's when we donated the final stuff, the final clothes, and it was because they were just like, they were out of style, but they were still good, you know. But those if those $10 were well worth it, that would a nuclear holocaust and those clothes will still be around. But now you pay $30-$40 for a shirt to last about 3 or 4 months. I had this
Word.
Ralph or a polo shirt that I think Josie's mom gave me, and this thing was easily like $100 shirt, and it only lasted me like 3 or 4 years. It literally disintegrated at the elbow.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's
and
funny.
and we talk about name grind, and it's like we had these Conway and the $10 stores that had no names, but then they I think that if you would try to cut them, it would cut the scissors first. That's how good they were.
My God. Yeah, things were made to last. I got this I don't know if I told you, I got this Bose wave system from 1999. The thing is still kicking and still
Damn.
sounds amazing.
Well, you remember those bookshelf systems? I think I gave you the last one that I had.
Yeah, that's Sony.
But
Yeah,
yeah, like those things were and the iWatch. Those things were I still miss those. They had the sound, and they were like not like our gym sounds that took up like half the living room. Remember that? Like, damn, like, and these little things were like they were awesome.
well, like, ironic enough, as crazy as it sounds, my desktop speakers I built them by hand, and the woofers that are in them are Iowas.
Nice.
It's like sometimes I really am an avid believer that when you find something that works, why try to go something different? Like the 12-inch woofers that I have, they're pioneers from 1991, and
Damn.
they still sound amazing. I love the sound
Damn.
of it. Yeah, dude,
Telling you,
just
it's not
some
like back then.
word up. Like I tried going surround sound about 2 times, and it just doesn't work out for me. It just doesn't. I have to have my 2 channel sound with a subwoofer, and it has to have a full
I'm the
range
same way.
sound.
Well, like the sound bars that you gave me, they're better than. I remember I bought these computer speakers years ago for like $80, and they sounded like those what those Kobe
Oh my god.
that you buy for like. They were terrible. And I remember I had these creative lab speakers, man. They sounded stereo. They were off the hook, and I only paid $20 for them, and they lasted me like 6 years. And it was like,
Wow.
you don't get it. The sound bar is like off the hook. It saved my ears.
No, for real. That's
Anyway,
actually
dude, I'm gonna be getting off in a few minutes because I gotta get back to work and I gotta do some like you know how I am. I gotta do my workout and do my thing, you know.
no. It's all
But you were
good,
gonna
man.
say something.
No,
You were
yeah. I
gonna
was
say
gonna say
something.
that that's one of the things that really has brought down the appreciation for good music too. Most people nowadays they don't have a proper stereo like back when. Back when almost everyone had a DJ system, even if there wasn't a DJ at home.
Yep. But you know the what's funny about that? I remember the remember that system you gave ISIS, you know, with the turntables and all that stuff. She actually appreciates that more than having you know like MP3 and CDs, and she's right, which blew my mind because I never talked to her about that. So I know that's genetic. That she was telling me that you know when you listen to it through a regular hi-fi system, you know, with a turntable and stuff, and you hear those LPs, you actually hear the soul of the music. You can hear, you know, you can hear the ambiance. You can hear the you know the instruments. You can hear even the little that you hear while the record's playing,
Yeah,
like all of that. You hear the ambiance in CDs and in MP3s. You don't hear none of that. It's very sterile. And I was like,
yeah.
damn, I never talked to you about that. But and then I had to actually sit back and it's like, And honestly, I had to like experience it for myself. And like, you know what? She's right. I'm telling you, it's
Well,
that Montero ear.
word
That's
up.
like
You gotta.
Manny Adonis was telling me that and his son, like the dude got some mad talents as he's doing like producing and he's studying sound engineering and supposedly he's really good. So hopefully, I heard him and Kelvin are doing some work together. So it's like, oh, okay. So I guess that's a genetic thing.
No, word up. It turns out all the stuff. How can I put this to you gently? Turns off all the bullshit that we used to talk about. Sound this, sound that. Turns out they were listening, so it was all worth
Yep,
it.
yep. Although our music dreams were cut out. Well, for me, it was cut out by mom and dad because they were like, "Why are you gonna do music? All you gonna do is deal drugs and this and that." And well, you remember I had a scholarship to go to the University of Berkeley in California for music, and pops like killed that shit. He said, "Well, you can do one of two things: you become homeless, or you can stay and get a real education." Which is not bad, but compared to from what I see, is like, damn, I know we could have done something in the music industry.
Ironic enough, as cold as that was, I've learned to appreciate how cold Dad was when it came to that with music,
No,
because
and
I really could
I
see
get it.
the other side. Yeah.
No, and I get it, and I appreciate it. But at the same time, sometimes I was having this conversation with Adonis last night. It's like sometimes I still like sometimes I sit there and I'm like, damn, what, how, like, you know, you start thinking about what could have been. Even though I
Oh yeah.
appreciate what I have now, you know, in the back of your head, you're like, no, what if things would have gone this way? What would have happened? Like that curiosity, like even now, just with the COVID stuff, that's really hard. It's like, damn, you know, what if I would have gone, what if I would have gone that route? What could I have been now? Maybe it wasn't meant to be, you know. But sometimes it's that wonder. Sometimes it makes you like, man, well, you know, it's not regret, it's curiosity. Like,
No, it's true.
where could music been if I would have been involved? You know?
Same here, dude. I gotta agree with you with that. There's many times I've thought of that as well. That man, how about if I had my hand a little closer to this, the effects that it would have had from that time to now?
Yeah.
It really
I mean, even
could
with
it really
Adonis.
altered history?
Yep. That's what I told Adonis. Like, you know, like as much as I hate it, I told him. I said, listen, if you have a dream, you know, I'm not gonna stop you from having it. You know, and it's not that I don't want him to go and do foolish things, but you know, as you know, sometimes as much as you try to help somebody, sometimes you gotta let them fall on their own so they can learn. You know,
Right.
like even with Nia and ISIS, you know, this is the same thing. It's like, you know, sometimes even though I know the outcome, all I can do up to a certain point. Once you get a certain age, I can't tell you what to do. All I can do is give you advice and rely on what I've taught you and let you do your own decisions. Because no matter what, and that. I think that's part of the thing that kind of bothers me. Like, even though they meant well, like certain things, like they made the decisions for me, and it's like, dude, you should have let me, like, you know, at least try, because that way I can be like, you know what, I know this isn't for me, so I move on.
Mm.
Like I did when I was a kid. That sometimes I would play music with certain bands and this and that, and instead of paying me, they wanted to give me drugs, and it was like that's what honestly that's what took me away from music. I remember the last time, and I think Emmy was with me, that I was playing with Ravel, and he tells me, oh, I'll give you this gram because I don't have money. She's like, no, no, I want my money. It wasn't much. It was like $200. But I was like, nah, I'm not playing for this. And then after that, that's when that trend started setting. That, they were working for drugs. I was like, nah, this isn't for me. So, in that sense, I appreciate what Dad did, but he also instilled that in me. But there was always he was looking at it from one portion. My part was I was looking at it bigger than that. That wasn't just merengue. It was like all these other aspects of it. That I was like, damn, like I know the ideas that I had. You know, like sometimes and I'm nowhere as talented. But I'm like, damn, I could have. Like, what if I could have been the next Quincy Jones
Mm.
or the next Ralph Mercado? It's like that, like I said, well, we're all turned out pretty good, but there's sometimes like you wonder, like, huh, what if this would have happened? Like I wouldn't trade my life in the world because my kids are everything. Like I'm glad I had them, but that sometimes you sit there, it's like, maybe if I did this, I wouldn't be like struggling. Maybe I would have been driving that Lamborghini, even though now I would never buy a Lamborghini after that you find out they're the biggest shits in the world. But you know how when we were growing up, like Ferrari, Lamborghini were like, oh my god. Like I remember when I was in my teenage years, I said, oh, by 24, I want to have $1 million. I want to have a Lamborghini, and I want to have this, and I'm nowhere near that.
Yeah.
But you know, now it's like, all right, I didn't get this, but I got my kids. I got a decent life, but but sometimes, who wouldn't complain if I had a couple of extra zeros in their bank account, you know?
Oh, word up.
Which I'm still trying to find ways to do it. It's just like, whatever. Some of us are meant to do one thing or another, but it's just that wonder, like sometimes, like, well, what do I do? But anyway, on that note, and now we're gonna keep like we always do, like 3 or 4 hours, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, gotta get it, I gotta take a bath, gotta go.
All right, dude. Well, this has been a pleasure, like always, bro.
Likewise, man. We'll see where it goes from here.
All right, man.
So we'll talk soon, man.
Peace, bro.